Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.
Hello, everyone. Get my fan on. How are you doing today? And welcome. I am Tracey Brown, and I am doing a reading on hot topics. And the hottest topic right now is this Bryan Krohberger, who, to everyone's surprise, the police and the FBI have done a wonderful job tracking him down. I can tell you for a fact, nobody had faith in the police. They were way too quiet, but they were absolutely doing an amazing job. Now, were there some inferences that could have gotten caught earlier? Yes. He was stopped by the police twice on his way home for a vacation with his dad, driving home. There's some mistakes made. There wasn't I forgot what they called it because I don't have police language, but there wasn't a point of reference in the system to say, look for this Hyundai, and we're also looking for a guy with bushy eyebrows. Now, there's just a lot of things going on with the case, like the little girl that actually witnessed these bushy eyebrows, and somehow or another she didn't call the cops for 8 hours. 8 hours, which tells me maybe somebody could have lived. Nobody's mentioning that, but if the murders just happened, if the incident just happened, maybe somebody could have survived. But the little girl didn't call the police for 8 hours. That is so scary, and I can't imagine what she went through in the 8 hours. Did she go back to sleep? Did she think she dreamt it? Like, we don't know anything right now, and yet when the police questioned her, she did have current memory. So psychologically, I think this little girl is damaged for a long time. So she is going to need some therapy, a lot of therapy. They just need to give her her honorary degree and let her figure out what her life is going to look like. But getting back to Bryan Krohberger and his dad, who they did not arrest. They didn't arrest his dad. But there were some things that were going on during the trip, like changing of the license plates. Like, if I change my license plates on a road trip with my dad, which I've gone on a road trip with my dad, and I change my license plates, all types of questions. I wouldn't even have a good trip. As a matter of fact, he would pull over and change the license plates back. Like, that would be my dad. And he would question me the whole time. So they haven't arrested Bryan Krohberger's dad, but it's just so curious to me. Like, what is that? Let me see what everybody's trying to say. Hi, Janice. Hi, Doris. Hi, Sunny. Hi, Magic Mermaid. Is there something funny? There is something funny about this case, something fishy. Yeah. Good health, everyone. Good health to everyone. And good morning and good health. I don't know what you mean with the last statement, Magic Mermaid. You No, because I'm looking at the dad this time. I'm not looking at Bryan. I'm just looking at the dad. And did he have involvement? Like, did he know something? Like, do they have a code word to say, I'm in trouble, Dad? Right? I know my son and I have a code word. And the last time I was there, I said to my son, what's the code word? Right? Because it's a code word you should like never forget. And he repeated it. And I was like, okay. I meant for the code word to be when he was a kid. And I don't even know why we came up with the code word, but it had something to do with this, that, and the third, and growing up a teenager and something to the other. And I was like, I know what it was. It was for earthquakes. It was for earthquakes, that if we wound up in an earthquake and in separate sides of the county in Los Angeles, I need to know the code word, right? And the code word meant you were okay, right? But last time I went to visit him, I was like, what's the code word? And he remembered it. And I was like, oh, okay. That's what I'm talking about. Sonny says his dad's spirit seemed off to me. Yeah. A lot of things seem off, like why they got DNA from the dad's garbage, but didn't get DNA from Bryan. Like, because he's criminal, right? So studying criminology, right? So he knew not to put DNA in the garbage. Also, they witnessed him. Oh, wait, I got both of these on, and I didn't mean to put both of these on. That's why I couldn't hear. I was like, why is my ears plugged? They witnessed him 4 o'clock in the morning putting garbage in his neighbors. 2 or 3 neighbors putting garbage in 2 or 3 neighbors' garbage bins. Yes, that is very true. One of the saddest things of being a parent is looking at your children through rose-colored glasses. It's one of the saddest things. And many of us are victim to only needing to see the best. Like, we just need to see the best in our child. And so when it doesn't exactly fall into place, we go back to a place of a 5-year-old child that we loved so much, and we're like, that's the child. Like, I'm going to defend that in my mind, that 5-year-old, not the 25-year-old that committed murder. Hi, Gabriella. Feel better, sweetie. I just saw your message. So my question is, I want to know, did he know? Because then he's aiding and abetting, right? But we did hear that this was planned. Listen to me. It was planned. And the father brought a ticket to go to his sons to then drive home. But we also know that the murders were planned, right? Because he kept coming back to that Idaho neighborhood. He kept pinging near their house. So we know that he was planning to do something. So did he involve his father, knowing that he was going to do something just before the holiday? But for right now, I don't want to look at Bryan. I just want to look at the dad. I just want to get inside the mind of the dad. Yeah, I felt like they knew too, Gabriella. Exactly, Sonny. Spreading out the evidence. I don't have my pen with me. I'm so annoyed right now. Let me get. Oh, I don't know where my cute little pen is. I don't move it from here because I need it when I push this back. But let me go. This works just as good. Okay. All right, guys. Yes, that's crazy. I feel like they knew. Yes. Spreading out the evidence. He knew they would check his garbage, right? You know, the funny thing is, no, I promise you, he was not trying to commit a perfect murder. I promise you. He was only insisting on getting a crime done, not have it be perfect. I promise you. And the reason why I say that is because he had no intentions of kidnapping anybody, which would have been easier, right? He could have, if he had gotten close enough, he could have drugged somebody. So he wanted, I feel like his appetite was to do what he did, not make it perfect. If he would have made it perfect, he wouldn't have taken out 4 of them. If it would have been perfect. But I'm getting that it was so sloppy that all of them woke up, right? All 4 of them woke up, including the 5th one. But by the time the 5th one thought she heard what she was hearing, he had taken out the 4. And to me, it feels like an appetite, and then his appetite was satisfied, right? Like he had a quota or something like that. So I don't think he was trying to create the perfect murder. As a criminologist, I would have expected that, right? There was something about him that was much more weird. He just needed to do it because he's weird. Do you get what I'm trying to say? No, I think you guys are off. I do not believe he knew exactly what he was doing. Okay, I got to say it this way. You got to understand what I'm trying to say. There's no such thing as Krispy Kremes on the island, right? In California, there's no such thing as a New York bagel. They got bagels. There's no such thing as a New York bagel. Well, there is a store that says New York bagel, and they really do a good job. But you really got to get a bagel from New York with the New York water. Like, it's different. Try as you might. Nothing tastes like a New York pizza. Nothing tastes better than a New York bagel. And you want to go one step further? Go to Staten Island, where they got bagels the size of a man's palms. And you buy them by the dozen. And they just keep making them all day long. Tiny little deli. All they do is make bagels, right? And when you come from a particular place and then you leave that place, all you ever want in life is a New York bagel, a New York pizza. That's all you want. It's all you dream about. I just want a bagel. And a New York pizza, only place you can get a New York pizza is in New York, right? And I'm telling you, New Yorkers, come on, bring it on. It is worth taking a trip to New York, or at least having a layover in New York to get a New York pizza. It's worth it, right? That's what I felt like he did. Like, the need to do what occurred had everything to do with getting that appetite out. I promise you, he was not trying to perform the greatest crime ever. He was more sloppy at best than he was the perfect crime. If it was going to be the perfect crime, seriously, he would have taken one of them out and left with no footprints, no nothing. Instead, the more people that woke up, it was like eating one thing after another, and his appetite for what he was planning all along had been satisfied, if that makes any sense. Nope. No, no, not at all. He does not like women. And I don't know, I tell y'all all the time, like, there are men out there that will sleep with you and don't like you. I tell y'all all the time. And literally, they show you in their body language, they show you by how they text you, they show you how they treat you, right? So he didn't like women, but he was more disgusted with them that they didn't see him as valuable. Like, or maybe they might have laughed at him. You know, he used to go to a bar and they had a sign in the computer to say, this guy's a weirdo. Doris, serial killer tendencies. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, the other thing that I'm getting is this went on from childhood. This guy was weird from childhood. So I'm telling you, I really feel like we're going to hear, I mean, if his parents are going to be honest, we're going to hear, you know, murdered cats and stuff like that, right? Body parts of animals. It wouldn't surprise me if he was a hunter. That wouldn't surprise me either. But he doesn't have a fascination for guns. He doesn't have a fascination for knives. He only had a fascination for the crime that he committed. Magic Mermaid. She's like, damn, his class should have been profiling him. Right. All right. Silence of the Lamb type. No, not getting that either. His intelligence level for the murder was 0. 0. He wasn't sophisticated enough to create the perfect. You know what I found out? You guys are going to hear about this soon. He went to apply to be an intern at a police department. Oh my God, the education that this guy would have gotten would have then made him the perfect murder. Hold on a second. Oh my God, I don't know why I'm hot right now, but I am. Put this fan on me better. I agree, Miss Tracy. He probably, he had to. He had to. We have to hear stories um, where he was mean to pets because it's the precursor to an adult that needs to hurt something, right? Like even like with like sexual assault, right? It wouldn't surprise me if someone had a fetish for assaulting their animals. hmm Thank you so much, sweetie. Let me just get the thank you. So this guy is weird. And how did their parents miss the weirdness? But was he so weird that you can warn people? Or was he so weird that the mom could have said, you know, honey, why don't you go into like something else? Right? Why criminology? Did they know? Hmm. We don't know that to be true. We don't know if he spared the dog. We know that the dog got out. We don't know his mindset in terms of how the dog got out. Also, the appetite was for humans. If he would have taken the dog out, you would have heard a yelp that would have woke the whole house up. That's how dogs scream loudly, piercing. You would have heard that first. So he was smart enough to know that taking the dog out would have woke up the whole house, and the dog would have spared everyone's life. Somehow or another, the dog got out. Hmm, not surprising. Dharma's dad encouraged. Oh, I just swallowed a pill. Uh, oh my God. I tell you guys, I have the smallest esophagus ever. Like, it's so tiny. Uh, um, encouraged Dharma to go into science because he likes cutting animals. Interesting. He looked weird now. He could have been bullied as a kid. You never know. Oh, please, bully as a kid. He was bullied as a kid. He was a weirdo. Bullied as a kid. Listen, he used to go to the bar and make snide remarks at women, right? That's a guy that thinks he's smarter than everybody else. So if he got bullied as a kid, it's because he didn't try to get along with others. There's all kinds of scenarios out there. I promise you. He didn't try to get along with others because he was walking into the room as a weirdo. Trying very hard, by the way, to look normal, except his eyes were like this. Imagine a 10-year-old kid walking into school and he's like, you would be like, you okay, dude? Don't I look okay? So he's one of those trying to look normal, was fucked up in the head. An old classmate said he was overweight and bullied as a kid. Let's just murder everybody then. Let's just do all the bullies. What? Don't care. Don't care. And trust and believe. I'm not down for no goddamn bullies. Trust and believe. But let's make him a victim. And that's why he did what he did to random people that had nothing to do with bullying him. Nope. Nope. Not giving him all of that. Right? I'm not giving him all of that. Oh, well, he was bullied as a kid. Let his mama tell us that. Not I wouldn't even repeat shit like that because they're gonna try and put that sympathy bullshit on the judges, on the jurors. And he was bullied as a kid. Really? People? Really? What, Cheetah? Gina goes, I was bullied for looking awkward and sounding white, and I didn't grow up to be a serial killer. Exactly. Exactly. You think my psychic self didn't walk into the room and everybody knew right away that there was something different about me, right? Even one girl in fifth grade, she was like, Tracy, you're kind of weird. And I was like, really? Really? Okay, I'm going to learn to look normal. From that point on, all I ever wanted to do was look normal. And then that's why I joined cheerleading and dancing, because those were where the cool kids were. But still weird and psychic and stuff like that. I didn't grow up to be a serial killer. Thank you, Sheena. Don't even talk to me about talking white. I grew up in an all-white neighborhood. You try being brown skin, full brown skin, not even remotely caramel complected, and you don't even know black music. I don't know about the OJs, Temptations. I'm going back a ways because that was popular back in the day. Sorry if I'm calling out my age. It happens. Sometimes I let you guys know the age of the Bruno that we never talk about, and I'll be like, what's the OJs? Even though I had a sister that only the black music and Soul Train. I wasn't interested. I wasn't interested in anything that she was interested in, because we're like 7 years difference. I'm not about to follow her path, right? I'm gonna follow my own path. I was like 6 years old. I'm not following her. Like, talk about weird kid. And all I had was white music and white people and white this and white that. And then I grew up and I realized white people don't even like brown skin. I was disappointed. I digress. I'm just talking about how weird someone can be to others and yet don't serial kill. Thank you for that, Gina. Shoot, weirdo. But they're going to pull out all the stops, you know, for the jurors, mostly white jurors. Well, he had, he was bullied. Oh, get out of here. We got 4 kids, dead, I tell you. It's not right because he was bullied. Fuck out of here, weirdo. You're just a weirdo, Bryan. The biggest gift that ever came to the world is that you got caught, that you only took out 4. You could have been a Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh, that's the other thing. The neighbor said he didn't sleep. There was some grinding in his apartment. There are things that the cops still aren't telling us. I'm telling you, there's got to be stuff in that apartment. That's why I'm asking y'all, could the dad had not seen anything? Like, hey, son, there's an arm over here. What's that about? Is that human or is that like a medical arm, but it's bloody? Or can you imagine if he's grinding up a body, right? It has to smell. His house has to smell. Gabriella goes, I love the Temptations. We digress. I love the Temptations too. There's only one guy that I liked. Only one guy. Can't remember his name anymore. But when he came on and, they did that, I was like, oh. And I was like 8. I'd be like, Ma, I like, Ma, you like that one, huh? Yeah, he's cute, Ma. He's cute. Oh my God. Yes, white man privilege. They always use that excuse, or they're going to have plenty of, poor Bryan excuses. Not let in. I don't know who the jurors are going to be. I'm talking to you right now, jurors. 4 innocent kids lost their life because of an appetite, a weird appetite that ended up in deaths. I'm warning you, jurors. Y'all can't disappoint these four people. You can't. You can't, jurors. You just can't. Please don't. Please do the right thing. We're going to check that once they pick the jurors. Then the police said, the police told YouTubers not to showcase the case. They were like, you're making it worse for us. Well, if you would have told us something that you guys are getting closer, or something to let us, you know. So I noticed a lot of people did stop doing YouTube videos once Bryan got caught. But I'm going to be doing videos around the case, right? Like, why haven't y'all arrested the dad? I still think y'all are not being the best at what you could do. So busy trying to get Bryan. Tell me the dad didn't have some involvement. Tell me that car didn't smell. Somebody look in the trunk. The dad would have had to put his suitcase in the trunk. Tell me why it sounds crazy to me that the dad would fly to Timbuktu and then drive 3,000 miles back. Tell me why that makes sense for an old man. Except that Bryan needed an alibi. Hey, Dad, it'll be great if we just, drive back with gas being $100, a gallon. Make it make sense. Y'all need to be looking at the dad, please, because something's not right here. The privilege is showing up in the courts. He gets to eat vegan. What? Oh, they ordered vegan for Bryan. That's like giving McDonald's to that other weird little kid that, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, I believe it wasn't his first either. I believe that because there's something about when they pinged on him, he drove 100 miles probably to get rid of the knife. But I felt like he drove 100 miles to a familiar territory that he's been there before. So it may not be his first, and I hope he confesses if they're, because up in those areas, missing bodies are like a lot, right? Like Alaska, right? Whatever you do, don't go live in Alaska. Indian women just disappear. Native people of Alaska, like real natives, just disappear up there. So nobody ever relocate to Alaska. That place is not safe. All right. Let's stop. Thank you for the conversations, though. I really appreciate talking this out first before, doing a read. But let's check. Please, God, talk to me. Talk to me about Bryan Krohberger's father. Please allow me to see anything and everything that you would like for me to see. Bryan Krohberger's father. He's your child. He's your love. He's your beloved. Please, Father God, authorize me to see and say what you would like for me to say and see. I love you, God. I love you, Jesus. In your name I pray. Amen, amen, amen. So when I had my eyes closed, I had two circles overlapping. Do you know what I mean? So I believe he is his father. There's something about some weird shit with his dad that's in Bryan. All right, let's take a look. There was some weird shit about his dad. You're gonna check some bodies up there in the Poconos. Lost love, surrender, healing, release. Transformation, certainty, confidence. Life cycles, family transformation. There is a family issue with criminology, let's say, right? There's a family issue. Like were there only certain type of TV shows that the dad liked to watch, or gaming, right? There's something weird that they may have participated in together that created what Bryan had become. Could it be gaming, guys? I know there's some weird games out there. Could it be gaming? Like a really weird gaming, like really weird. I think there might be something here where his dad may have liked, what's that game with the Menendez brothers? I know that turned into a gaming. What's that game? You dress up and you go into the woods and you pretend to be like, you have your shield and your knife, because a knife is a big deal over a gun. What's that game, guys? It's something and something. It took down the Menendez brothers because that's a game that they used to play all the time. And then they did it in real life to their parents because of the game. What the father would be about? How old are his brothers now? The father should be about my age or older. Do you guys know the game that I'm talking about? Everybody's speechless. You all are trying to think. The game used by the Melendez brothers. No one's thinking. It was a game, but they used to play it in real life. It didn't become a ping pong game. That's much later. It was a game that the college students used to play in real life, and they would dress up in period pieces. But the Melendez brothers took it to the next level, and did the Dungeons and Dragons. There you go, sweetie. There you go, Joseph. There you go. Only a man would remember that. How old are the Melendez brothers? How old are Melendez brothers? Let me see something. The case happened in 1989, and they were grown and in college in 1989. So it's about 35 years. So they're 40 something, right? No, 35 years, 3, 4, 5. They can't be 50 something. Are you serious? Let me see something. Are you serious? They're 50 something? They're in the same prison now, but they never used to be. One was 21 and one was 18, and that was in 1989. So it's about 34, 35 years later. One's 51 and one is 50-ish. 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay. I'm 48 and they're older than me. Yes, yes. They're in their 50s. So if Melendez brothers are in their 50s playing that game and they're in their 50s, then the game had been around for a while. That's what I'm trying to say. So I believe that his dad used to play this Dungeons and Dragons game himself, but then it turned into a ping pong game, right? Not the Dungeons and Dragons, but that there's a game out there that is ping pongish, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's a Wii or Nintendo, right? And I think Bryan grew up on this game. 54 and 52. Thank you, Anissa. Thank you, sweetie. So that would mean their dad would be anywhere. Let's just say they're 20 years in advance. Let's say maybe 20, 25. So his dad would be 5, 6, 75, 80-ish, right? Their dad would be, which would be the same age bracket of Bryan's father. So his father is anywhere between 60 and 80 and was around at the time of live Dungeons and Dragons, which meant that when it became a game, because Melendez brothers made that game weird to do in person, right? Once they figured out, oh, wait, you were playing a game and you took it home, right? It was a game, but you made it real life. So nobody could play that stupid game on colleges anymore, right? And so I believe, Vic Game Chick, tell me, is there weird games out there? There has to be where you could just, there has to be. I think Bryan grew up on those type of games, which is why I think the father's responsible for all of this. If you would have gave me a little bit, I would have been like, I know what it is, Dungeons and Dragons. Learn to trust your instincts, child. That's why I do what I do, for you all to learn to trust your own instincts. Accelerated motion. Somewhere back in August, which is why I'm getting the number 8, the plot to take someone down, that accelerated. So I'm wondering if him and his dad, because he was smart in that way, because I feel like he was going to do something. He was going to do it around Christmas break or around Halloween. He might have thought it would have been easier in Halloween. But then he thought about it, because Halloween tends to be all night and he would have been caught. So he did it after Halloween. He did it in November, right? After Halloween. But his plan was to do it during Halloween. Maybe, now that I'm thinking about it, he was going to do it Halloween, but there was too much activity for that to happen. So I'm wondering if he was near their house around the 31st, Halloween. But then I'm wondering if he told his dad, buy a ticket and come get me. I'm wondering when that ticket was brought. If it was after November 3rd, then we know that's a part of the plot. If it was before November 3rd, still part of the plot, but in a way where he knew by a certain date he needed to do this. Now, the other thing that I'm getting is, if he needed to do it by a certain date, which is, I believe, was Halloween, was there something in astrologically where it was important to do this? right? Because again, I'm talking about Dungeons and Dragons. So is there something like by the midnight on October 31st, no later than 3 days? Like, is there something like that in a system that made this alive for him? Must be done in November, in October, no later than 3 days before, 3 days after. I'm just saying, there were obstacles and challenges in getting to this point, unfortunately. I just wish there would have been more obstacles and challenges. Yeah, that it needed to be done due to some astrological, reverence to the game, whatever that means. We'll figure it out later. I don't know. But I am getting third eye chakra. So I do feel like there was something with the moon and Neptune that was part of the reasoning behind plotting this. And I promise you, I don't believe he was going to take out 4 people. I don't believe that for a minute. I don't think 4 was the number. I think 1 was the number, but everybody kept waking up because he was sloppy and disgusting. And that's why DNA was left behind. Last blood moon was November 8th. Maybe. Listen, I feel like it had something to do with astrological. Why am I reading him? I'm reading the dad, but it's same thing. Maybe. So there's a blood moon. So he's one of those guys that would misinterpret all of that stuff because a blood moon doesn't mean a bloody event. I don't know. All right. 6 of Cups. This scenario that was pulled off is not unfamiliar to Bryan. There was something inherited by his dad. Bryan might have been a witness to something. I'm telling you guys, check the Poconos. Go back over the missing people's list. Something is there. This is familiar energy. And then I think nothing's an accident, like psychically, because I think it's interesting that they got Bryan's DNA from the dad's part of the garbage, right? Psychically, is the dad the same person as Bryan? And did Bryan witness something? Okay, let's talk about something else, right? Which you guys may not know. Wealthy people, that includes the royals, have rituals. They have rituals where they, those snuff films, they have rituals where, I was watching one movie about children where they needed to eat the eyeballs of the children. They have weird rituals out there. What if his dad is a part of something ritualistic out there? Because minorities are expendable, right? Nobody's going to look for minorities in Alaska, in the Poconos, right? I'm just saying. Hangman is a sacrifice card. Knight of Cups as an offering. This might have been, I don't know, guys. It might have been a ritual. Get the 4 of Cups. get the Eight of Cups. I get the Strength card. I get the Ten of Swords. I think I said this before. I feel like there was, if he didn't get caught, I feel like there would have been a quota to have met, which would have made him a serial killer, right? But I think I said this before. You know, the Page of Wands is a card of, to me, it also means new life, but to me, it feels like a card of, like, informing his dad that I did it, right? Like, what if come fly out was code for I did it? And what if driving back was the only time that they could talk about what happened? Think about it. ICW, there was a fascination with knives. I'm going to go back to that. There really was. There's something here. But I'm still getting Dungeons and Dragons. You see what I'm trying to say? And King of Cups, what's King of Cups? Father figure. At least for me. I always see the King of Cups as father figure. It's one of the examples I use, not just the astrological association, but for me, the cups, King of Cups is father or surrogate father. Queen of Cups is mother, surrogate mother. Guys, I'm going to stick to it. The father was intimately involved in the making of Bryan Krohberger and not from in utero. He participated and allowed Bryan to see some weird shit out there in the Poconos. Really? I would get that, because now I'm getting that for the dad to fly out might have been code for something happened, or I did something, or it's done, right? And that's what I think is being tricked with the police, because the police are saying it was a planned trip. But what if the planned trip was, it's gonna get done, and it'll get done before you come to fly out? All right, guys. The dad is hella weird, and I'm telling you, you don't have to believe me, but there's some robe dressing and dancing around in a Pocono forest. Something's weird here. Something's weird. Maybe having a lodge, going to a lodge up there. Something's weird. They better get this whole story. No, Sonny, he did that to throw the police off. It was only him. I promise you. He did that to throw the police off. Unless he was trying to throw his dad under the bus. All right. I'm getting a resounding yes from inside the home. There's something here about money too, though. There's something here about money. You know, because these people can be weird, I'm wondering if this is a money grab for weird wealthy people. Not that they were wealthy. Listen to me. I don't believe that this particular family was wealthy, but I'm saying, is there a system out there that if you do something, then his college gets paid for. Who said that, Sin W? Yeah, something about money here. I hope they do a full investigation because there's a backstory here. There's a whole backstory. So we need more of an investigative reporter to check into the family, because the sister knows and the mother knows that the men in the family are weird. I feel like they were crying because their son got caught. Kind of like saying, why my son? When we know that there's a system out there. I feel like he apologized to his mother, but I feel like he apologized by saying, I'm sorry I got caught, not I'm sorry that you're witnessing what a weirdo I am. All right. I also believe the mom was exhausted with her son, meaning there's definitely a fetish for knives. I would really be surprised if there wasn't more knives in the house. Oh, yeah, he's not going to be. No, he can't be. I promise you. Nope. Nope, he will not at all. That's not going to happen, Cindy. I promise you. All right. Did we get enough information? Any other questions? I was thinking that too, like a family of henchmen. What's henchman? I don't even know what that is. Henchman? Who? Doo-doo. Henchman. Henchmen. I think it's a community. A faithful follower. Oh, especially one prepared to engage in a crime or dishonest practices by way of thinking that it's service. I believe that. I feel like there's a lodge that they all belong to. Bunch of weirdos. Hi, Minnie's Corner. No, not paid assassins. No. Don't confuse any of that. These guys are weird. They do things because the act is the enjoyment part. They're weird. Like they process what that looks like way before they do something. Not paid assassins. That's not the same thing. Gabriella. Gabriella, why would somebody tell you that? If somebody told me that, I'd be like, please leave me be. Alone. Because the thing about a paid assassin is that the crime is so subtle. It's so subtle, right? Unless the intent is to torture, right? Most times the crime is subtle if it's a paid assassin, right? Like the one with Olivia Pope, where they went to take out the president's son, and as he was going on stage, they had a ring and they stuck a needle in his. Where did they stick that needle? I thought it was his neck, but he was dead in seconds. Yeah, if it's not wealthy people, it just feels like very similar to the KKK. If it's not wealthy, because KKK is the ignorance of that type of group, right? Wealthy people might go to lodges and secret society, Some of them might be Masons. I hope I'm not putting Masons down, so don't y'all get mad at me. Y'all the one that created a secret society. Don't get mad at me. But it feels like something like that, like a Mason building. Doesn't a Mason have the compass that, no, it doesn't really matter. Masons are going to get mad at me. They're going to be like, what? Yeah. Leave me alone, Masons. Leave me alone. You're the weirdos. Stop it with these secret groups and nobody will bring up your name. Oh, thank you, Gabriella. Oh, thank you, Vic Game Chicks. Vic Game Chicks. There's games out there where they do like weird things, right? Like weird things, right? I already know there is. I already know. That's what Brian grew up on. The weird stuff. All right. You know, whenever I pull this up, I feel like I'm lifting up my skirt. What the hell is wrong with me? Every time I pull this up, I always think like, I feel like lifting up my own skirt. True story. I always think that. Every time I lift this skirt up. All right. Said what, Gabriella? All right. Let's see. Right side up. Right side up, student. Brian was taught. He learned from the best, his own father. He learned from the best, his own father. And remember, now I can't find it, but I'll look for it. It's here. I got father energy. So, father energy. Where's the card? How to lose the card that quickly? Oh, I did. I lost the card. Oh. Father energy, student. His father is directly responsible for how Brian turned out. Right, Gabriella? What a final outcome, right? Spirit never lies. Never lies. Yes. All right, let's read Spirit. Oh my God. Oh my God, you people are so weird. Like, stop being weird. Student. Suggests not an absence of mastery, right? There's no mastery here. That's why he wasn't an assassin. He was sloppy at best. But rather a continuum pursuit of intellectual development, which is why he kept going on for, masters and doctorate, right? Right? Has found a source of teaching, such as guru or spiritual master, who becomes the instructor and spiritual guide. And remember, he had, younger students under him because he was a student teacher or something like that, or he's paid to be a whatever. Look for a pattern of constant learning, openness to new information as an essential part of your well-being And I feel the same way because he applied to be a police department intern. So that was going to be an extension of his learning. I'm just going to read shadow student. Shadow student usually manifests in tandem with the shadow teacher or mentor. So I think he did have some weird mentor out there. Avidly learning all the tools of the wrong trade or misusing the knowledge learned. May never move beyond the student role, which is why the case was so sloppy, to develop an independent inner wisdom. I think he learned from his dad. I think there's family history of doing some weird stuff. I think the mama knows. I think the sister knows. I think that they are just in shock that someone got caught. However, guys, we are in a spiritual year. You're going to hear me say this all year long. All untruths will get dismantled. All of it. So if you've got something to confess, confess it. Because if it has to catch up with you, it's going to be worse than you can imagine. We are in a spiritual year, which means we could be in a spiritual battle with truth and dishonest and untruth. And is it going to get unraveled? Hell yeah. Which is why it's no surprise that they picked him up in 2023, not in 2022. So hopefully everything that I talked about will be part of, yes, a Netflix documentary where the whole truth comes out. Look at the January 6th, right? All the untruths are coming out. Look, right up until the day that they tried to, vote a speaker in, because all of that ugly for the past 2 years culminated in not even be able to vote in a speaker. And so what you're going to see, this is not a political thing, but what you're going to see is for the next 4 years, or at least until the next election, which is where the Senate votes in, you're going to see they won't agree with anything. There will be not an agreement amongst this group for anything. They're going to tie up monies and tie up this and tie up that because it's about all the ugly that needs to get unearthed. So sit back and watch our political system get ripped apart for the greater good, but it has to get ugly. Yeah. This could be, it could be Pink Lily film. It could be. All right, guys, I've done the best I can. The dad, you suck. You put a child out there thinking you all were smarter than everybody else. This is something to do with something like Dungeons and Dragons, something like a lodge, something in the forest. This is not his first rodeo. Maybe not his first killing because he was so sloppy at it. But I do believe he has been witness to some other things. And even this card, it shows a tree, right? Ironically, like it's students, so why a tree? And in this case, it's because this is in a family. I would really want them to check into the dad's history and any lodges that he belongs to, because something is weird about these people. And I pray that the sister talks. Maybe the mother won't talk, but I pray the sister will talk. All right, guys. Yes, thank you, VidCame Checks. I really appreciate you. 213-458-7408. If you want a reading with me, I do have openings today. I did one reading before. I wasn't going to do it till after, but now I'm glad that I did it before, because sometimes I think an hour is going to be enough. But look, I went over an hour and my nerves get really bad when I do a reading publicly and then I have a planned reading. So this, by taking her early, this allowed me to finish my thought and take my time. Apple and the tree. Yeah. Wow. All right, guys. I love you. I honor that you let me come through and give you these readings. I am appalled and disgusted at what came through in the reading. And I'm telling you, culturally, y'all got to do better. Culturally. And I'm not talking about indigenous, brown, and black people. Culturally, y'all got to look at yourselves, because this is bad. Y'all got to be honest. And I don't know who the jurors are. Y'all better not let this guy be out in the street. He'll come after your own children. Remember that. Oh, you're welcome, guys. Take it easy. Bye.
Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.